And have you been able to verify these reports of a massacre, up to 1,000 dead, some reports are saying, in this western city of Dwekwe?
At the moment, I think it's the Red Cross who've been there and seen the bodies and come up with that figure, saying that the 800 deaths or so took place on Tuesday when the pro-Western forces took the town. The UN say that they're not aware of the particular numbers. Their UN mission have about 8,000 or so peacekeepers here, and they've got a base in the town of Dwekwe and a role to protect civilians, but they're still looking into what happened there. But certainly it corresponds with the level of tension in that town in particular and that region as well between various communities. There was fighting there in January, even before the civil war restarted, and now I think with the forces coming through, it left things open for exactions between the two communities.
And the Foreign Secretary William Hague has added his voice to those calling for Laurent Gbagbo to stand down. So far, he's shown absolutely no sign of doing that, though, has he?
No, he hasn't. I mean, there's been very strong calls in the last 24, 48 hours from, well, everyone really, the United Nations Secretary-General, the Americans, the French, the UK now, all calling categorically for Laurent Gbagbo to step down. He's been offered various deals over the last 4 months or so to accept his defeat in the elections in November, exile, financial packages, a place abroad, amnesty even. But so far he's shown no sign whatsoever of being willing to accept any sort of deal.
Well, in a few moments we'll be joined by viewers on BBC One when Riz Lateef will have all the latest news and sport. In the meantime, don't forget, if you're away from the television and want to keep up to date, you can watch BBC News live on the web. Go to bbc.co.uk/news and click on the link.
Hello and good evening. NATO says it's investigating reports of a coalition airstrike on a rebel convoy in Libya. Rebel leaders say 13 were killed in the attack near Brega, which was apparently launched after rebels fired an anti-aircraft gun into the air. Our correspondent, Orla Guerin, reports from the site of the attack on the road between Brega and Ajdabia.
Praying for brothers in arms, killed in error by the coalition. But even as they mourned, the rebels said the airstrikes should continue. Next time, they told us, just get the target right. At the scene, we found evidence of the airstrike's destructive power. This was an ambulance, life-saving equipment still inside. The driver and 3 medical students are counted among the dead.
Well, the impact of the airstrike is clearly visible here. There's wreckage all over the ground, and there are a series of vehicles which have taken direct hits. Now, the fighters say they were manning a checkpoint at the time. They say it was quiet when suddenly someone opened fire, and within minutes they were under attack from the skies.
This rebel claims a Gaddafi supporter crept in among them, opened fire, then fled. But other accounts say there was celebratory fire by the rebels themselves, as seems far more likely. Suddenly, we had to flee an attack. This time, it was mortars from Gaddafi forces.